Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Today's topic I want to talk about is how do you deal with a situation when someone is just verbally attacking you for no reason or just teasing you verbally for no reason? How do you deal with that situation? How do you handle it? One, it's just very hard to deal with. That's number one. But there's a way to handle the situation. So, how do you deal with it? Now, I'll share with me. I was never like a person that would physically attack someone because they said something verbally to me or teasing me. I was never one of those. I had family members that if you said something to them in a negative way, they were going to really pop you. And I had, when I was going to junior high school and high school, they were one of those. I had uncles and aunts. When I went to elementary school, some of my aunts were and uncles were still in elementary school with me. When I first entered, they was actually graduating or had like a year or two to go. And I grew up in a family where I had different variety of family members that some would hit you if you say something negative to them or look at them, in a negative way. They would approach you, and it didn't matter who it was. If it was a stranger, it wasn't it had nothing to do, like, they wouldn't attack a family member, but just a perfect stranger, or if someone was teasing them at school. So I was the opposite. I was like my other like certain other family members. You say something to me, I'm not gonna hit you because words are just words. You tease me, I'm not gonna hit you. I'm not gonna go off on you. I'm not gonna curse you out. Words are just words to me. I never grew up like that because that's the way my mother raised me. She was like, I don't want you fighting with anyone because they're saying something verbally to you. Now, a lot of my other family members were taught that. Like, they were like, if someone hits you, I'm not hit you, but if someone says something to you verbally, don't get to the point where you need to fight. And then you had certain family members, they initiated fights by putting, chips on people's shoulders or a stick, knock this off my shoulder. And as soon as they knock it off, then it's a fight. So I grew up with dealing with that, and then dealing with, you don't fight for the most silliest reasons. You defend yourself if somebody is going to hit you. So I grew up in that way. I didn't grow up where, my mother didn't teach me to hit someone or if someone stared at you in a funny way. No, I had other family members. You say something verbally to them, they're going to say something really crazy back to you and then tell you, I dare you to put your hands on me. And I witnessed certain family members fighting when I was growing up with other people their age. Like me and my cousin, we went to junior high school together in elementary school, and she got into a couple of fights with different people because of they would say certain things to her, and then she would get like physical. Now, me, I wasn't a physical person. I only got physical if you got physical with me. I just felt like I just didn't have my energy just wasn't there to fight you just for words, you know. So in junior high school, I had this one girl who made an effort to tease me about my last name, and it was a consistent effort to do it every time she saw me. Even if I was walking on the area where most of my friends would hang out, like close to the football field in junior high school, and so I would go and walk over there to where they were sitting on the bleachers, and she would just catch me right off the bat and start walking up to me and teasing my last name. And my last name is spelled identical to McDonald's burger stand. And so, saying that, you know exactly that this person is going to start saying things like they're ordering from a menu. And so that's what she would do. And she would stand in front of me and just say, I'm waiting for my order. And it was just, you know, it would make other students in the school laugh. And as an adult thinking about it now, it's funny. But dealing with it was very irritating. But it wasn't irritating to the point I needed to physically hit her. I just ignored it because I just thought it was really stupid. But eventually she stopped doing that because as long as I was ignoring what she was doing, it really wasn't really having no effect on me. And so she left me alone eventually. As years went on down the line, I actually ran into that young lady again. But this time we were like in our adult age. And I think I was about maybe 25 or 24. And we were both waiting for the same bus. I think we were both waiting at the same bus stop. And she saw me and she kind of said, "You look very familiar." And she was asking me if I ever went to this particular junior high school. And I recognized her after she started talking to me. I said, "Yeah." And then she told me, she said, "I really want to apologize for what I did as a kid. Saying that to you was wrong. And I feel like what I dealt with in my life, my personal life, is the reason I'm dealing with it because I teased you for so long." Now, let me just clear this out. God in heaven is not going to cause your world to be chaos. He's not going to cause you to go through hardships because of what you did in junior high school. I never did anything to tease someone because of their last name or try to um, just do things. I've only in elementary school I've chased after, me and my friend chased after two girls for silly reasons. We didn't like the way they were dressing. They were dressing in a way that was like an adult age. They would sneak in the bathroom and put on like adult clothing and try to flirt with the little boys that was in there. And me and my friend, we were in elementary school, and basically we were jealous of what they were doing because the guys that we liked were looking at them. This was in elementary school. We never physically hit them, but we argued back and forth with them. I went through stuff that has nothing to do with that situation in junior high. In elementary. I never teased anyone because of their last name. I never caused people to fight. I was always one of those people. I avoid fights at any cost unless I have to really physically defend myself. And then I was going to fight. I went through hardships in my life as well, just like anyone else. I went through hardships. I dealt with different situations, different scenarios in my life. It has nothing to do with what I did as a kid. Nothing to do with that. And that was something that I pray that she did not hold on to and think that it had something to do with her talking to me in the way that she was saying certain names and things about my last name. It had nothing to do with that. If that was the case, I wouldn't have gone through anything that I went through mostly. I would have went through light stuff. But it's a lesson for us to be strong and to help those in need. And it's to help those who are going through the same thing that you're going through. It just so happened me and her happened to see each other at the bus stop, and she felt in her heart that she needed to apologize for what she did. That was something that she felt in her heart, and God already forgave her for that, what she did as a kid. She was a kid. You know, that is something Father in heaven is not going to hold against you. You know, when it comes to things dealing like that, you can't think that our Father in heaven is going to take a situation you did as a kid and he's going to stir the pot and make your life a turmoil. He's not going to do that. That he loves you too much. He wants to guide you into being the person that he raised you to be. He wants to raise you up to be very strong and be a beautiful person. And so hearing her say that, I felt heartbroken for her, feeling that this was the reason why things were happening the way they were. Another situation with me that I dealt with was a person who made a choice to demolish a good friendship that I had with someone. And this friendship, we were very, very close. We lived like close in a close area. I thought we were going to be very cool and very close. It turned out because my friend, my best friend, shared her personal information with a person who was telling everybody's information at the school, um, it got around to the school. And when her siblings wanted to find out who spreaded the news about their sister, not the news, but the personal information, they went to the source of who did it, but didn't realize they was talking to the source. And that person detoured them to me. And they came looking for me, saying, how dare you tell your best friend's information? And now she does not want to come to school. And I had no clue what they were talking about. I was like in the blind. And they say, you trying to act like you don't know? And I have two people trying to physically jump me in the cafeteria. Physically, I don't even know what they're talking about. So I run into the kitchen and I ask the cook if I can hide in here because I have two students trying to physically jump me for no reason. And I knew who they were. I knew they were her siblings. But I didn't know why they were trying to come after me like that. I didn't know. I did not know. So when I talked to the cook, he was this gentleman. What he would do, like you have student cooks that was in the kitchen too, but they had this gentleman who was over the kitchen and who would get help students to learn how to cook who worked in the kitchen. He knew me because what we would do towards the end of the lunch hour, he had like so many chocolate chip cookies left, and he would say, well, I have so many of these left, first come first serve, you get these free. And so we had a friend who worked in the kitchen, and she was like, come on, he about to give them out. And so that's how we got a chance. I got a chance, and other students got a chance to know who he was. And so he said, well, you just hide in there and I'll talk to them. And he was like, we're looking, why you have her in there? So they were trying to get to me, but they didn't realize I had nothing to do with that. And every time they would see me, they was like, we'll get you. And I kept saying, I had nothing to do with that. And I guess in their spirit, as time went on, they started realizing, I don't think she had anything to do with it. She doesn't even know what we're talking. They were even talking to the girl that they accused me of telling the personal information to. They were saying, we know she told you, and then y'all went around and told other people. That wasn't accurate. When my best friend shared that story with me, I told nobody. I told nobody knows the whole entire story but my mother, and she's deceased. I told my mother what happened. And I said, I don't know how this got around because I didn't talk to anybody. Then I found out, like I said, that my best friend made the horrible mistake of telling a particular individual in high school that was really sharing a lot of personal information about different people. Because of that situation, I actually detoured every time I saw my friend. Even in adulthood. I remember going to a fair and seeing her two siblings there. And then I saw her and I said, time to leave. I was married at this time. Even when I went to go see my uncle who was incarcerated, I saw her two siblings. I didn't see her, but I saw her two siblings. I said, oh my God, I cannot let them see who my uncle is. And I cannot let them see me, because my fear was they would have whatever family member in there attack him because of what they believe I said. And as years went on, that young lady that shared that information and that said that I was the one that did it, she apologized to me and said, I apologize for breaking up a friendship you had. And as time went on, I said to myself, the friendship I had with that young lady was so personal because she shared personal information with me about about herself. And now this friend of mine will never know it wasn't me. And a beautiful friendship between us ended because of that. And I was hurt by that. I was really hurt by it, you know. And the young lady said, because I feel like because of what I did growing up as a kid, I did a lot of things. I feel this is why I'm going through the things in my life and why I'm dealing with stuff in my life. If that, this is my thing, what I'm saying. If that was the case, a lot of people that have done a lot of horrible stuff wouldn't be succeeding in their careers. They wouldn't have a house, they wouldn't have kids or none of that. That has nothing to do with it. Father is not going to take what you did as a kid. What you did as a kid and decide to stir the pot of misery in your life. He's not going to do that. Situations happen for different reasons. I've dealt with some hardship in my life. I've dealt with my husband passing away, caring for him and watching him deteriorate. I've dealt with some hardships of caring for my husband and my son. My son has autism. I've dealt with my son, using the bathroom on himself, over himself on the floor, and dealt with my son getting angry to the point where he's hitting walls. I've dealt with different things. I've dealt with health issues. I've dealt with just different things in my life. But what you did as a kid has nothing to do with where your life is. God is not going to take a situation you did as a kid and say, I'm going to throw misery on your life. He's not going to do that. So I just wanted to share about a little bit about that and how to deal with situations. Each of those particular situations, they were very hurtful for me. And what I dealt with them, the last one that broke up the friendship, it was very hard. I wanted to get physical, but I never did because I just felt like that was just not something I was supposed to be doing. And so I just dealt with being accused of doing something I didn't do. I didn't do that. And it was very hurtful, And sometimes when someone cause havoc in your life, you want to be physically violent, but you have to go to the Heavenly Father to guide you and direct you. And my spirit just wasn't in that direction. I was still on, long as you don't put your hands on me, I'm fine. And because of that friendship I built with that particular person and trusting them, at that time, I actually lost a lot of friends. And I had to start over with new friends because a lot of people said, oh, you're friends with, oh no, she will tell all your information. I had just started going to high school at that time. But I'm just saying that don't take what you did as a kid and think that is why your life is going the direction it's going. Father in heaven is not going to take what you did as a child and say, now as an adult, I'm going to put misery on your life. That's not going to happen. I've gone through some stuff myself. And how to deal with each one of any situation similar like this or totally different where somebody's just causing drama between you and a person or verbally, because I've dealt with people causing drama between me and other people. Walk away from that friendship. Don't deal with that person and focus on the direction God has for your life. Focus on where He's trying to guide you and don't allow it to consume you to the point where you become confused and don't know what to do. So what you want to do is make sure God is revenue in your life and telling you, you're listening to Him, guiding you what you're doing, where He's going to tell you where to go. You want to make sure that everything that you do and every choice that you make is basically from God in heaven, not from your own thinking. You want to go to God and Father in heaven to ask Him how to deal with it. How should I handle it? I've watched friends in junior high school and high school go through some stuff that was pretty horrific, and being there for them and watching how they handled it in a situation of just ignoring everything. I watched friends of mine go through a breakup because somebody didn't want them with this guy, not because the guy was no good, but because they wanted the guy. But God had a way of influencing the gentleman to show proof to the girl that he wanted to be engaged to in high school that he didn't do this. And I started telling her, I started telling her, well, I started hearing like, they didn't know I was friends with the girl, because she was very well known, very well liked. So they didn't know I was friends with her. And so I heard two girls who did the fake news, conspiring, coming up with another plan. And I told her, this is what I heard. And she confronted them. And people say, yeah, this is what they did. And it came out that they did this. And the beautifulness is that she and her fiance, they were dating, and then he asked her to marry him, while they were in high school. And they eventually got married. And they eventually left that school, and they eventually got married. It's sometimes people just do things for different reasons. But you have to show that, if you can show proof that you didn't do anything like that. I couldn't on my end, because they just wasn't really hearing me, So I hope this helped anyone with any lesson of information, and I hope it brings something to you to understand how to deal with it, and understand that no matter what you did as a kid in junior high, high school, elementary, Father in heaven is not going to have this, I'm going to throw misery on your life. That's just not going to happen. So I hope this give you a blessing and give you the things that you need to focus and stay focused on the direction God has for your life. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.